all, Dominic here again, welcome to another video. I hope you're all okay today and I hope you're all having a nice weekend so far. So today's video is going to be something a bit different, but something that I'd like to sort of talk about. And I'm actually going to be somewhat looking back on old photos. Now the reason why I want to talk about this is due to a couple of days ago where my uncle sent my mother an old photograph. He was going through old photos and he sent my mum one, which was with myself, my mum and my sister. And it was a nice sort of look back on it. It really, really was. And I thought, do you know what? I want to make a video about this. So yeah, I'm going to somewhat be, looking back on old photos and talk about it. So yeah. So I think with everyone, I think it's always nice to look back on old photos. It really, really is. And I think it's also funny to look back about how things have changed in a long time. And that photo that my uncle sent my mum was actually from 20 years ago. So it was. So at the time I was 5 years old. And it's just crazy, where all that time's gone. 20 years, it's just insane. It really, really is. And I even like to look at, other photos of myself, or even of my sister, and even my mum. My mother. I think it's nice and stuff. It's just nice to sort of see what she used to look like when she was younger. It's just really, really good to see that, and even other family. Because I used to look at a few old photos of my nana when she was still alive, and I've seen a couple of my uncle as well. And it's nice sort of see it of how people have changed over the years. It's really, really crazy. And I think even styles as well, like fashion or maybe haircuts or hairdos or whatever, or whatever, just what the fashion trend or whatever it was back then. Because I think people do laugh thinking like, bloody hell, if I used to wear that, you know what I mean? But that was the trend, at the time and stuff. It's just how it is. And for me, it's sort of nice to see like what people were like during those times. Because again, I was born in 1995, so obviously I didn't have any experience of anything before 1995. So obviously it wasn't like I was, like partying in the 1980s or, studying or whatever. You know what I mean? Obviously that never happened. So it's sort of nice to look back and see, how things were with people. And I think it's nice to even look at yourself, see how much things have changed. Because like I said, when I'm looking at that old photo of myself, it was crazy to think that, I used to be a child, and obviously, I know that. We all know we all used to be children. But it's crazy we used to be these little small children, and now we're, adults and stuff. It's just crazy. Again, that's just how time goes. Time just goes so fast. Like, when you're an adult, time flies. It really, really does. But when you're a child, you're like, oh, I want this to happen, or I want that to happen. I want to be an adult now. I want to be 18 years old, all that sort of stuff. And I think once that happens, obviously you can't get that time back, you know what I mean? So it's just how it is. And I think it's lovely to see that and stuff. It's nice. Because I think sometimes you feel like you're different people every year and stuff. It's just crazy. It really, really is. I don't know, some people don't like to look at their old photos because they think it's like embarrassing or whatever. I'm not like that. I love looking at old photos. I love, taking a photograph of myself. That's just how it is. I know a lot of people do these like weird moves or, these weird poses or whatever, which I'm I don't really give a damn about those. But, it's just sort of nice to, look back on, the old days. So I like the way I said that. Even though I'm only 25, I'm getting old, guys. No, I'm still young, you know what I mean? But even looking at old photos from like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, and it's funny looking back because I haven't really changed that much in my appearance. I was looking at an old photo from 2014 and I was thinking, I've not changed slightly, so I haven't. I really, really haven't. Things, obviously, I'd say things became a lot better once I got, the beard and the facial hair. Because it makes me look a lot older, so it does. Because I remember I shaved everything off back in, like, 5 years ago, back in 2015, and my family kept joking, not in a bad way, but in a funny way, saying, "You look a bit like a child." And I remember we went out for a meal one time, and he said to me, "There you go, Dominic, there's the children's menu." Because again, I looked like a child, I really, really did. And at the time I was 20. So I probably think I look about maybe about 14 or 15 at the time. That's just, how it is and stuff, and how I look. But I always like to have the the beard and facial hair, because again it makes me look a little bit more older, so it does, which I like, I really, really do. But it's just crazy, because I was talking to a friend recently, and she even said the same thing, like, "You've not really changed that much, so you haven't, you've not changed at all." I thought, I said, is that a good thing or a bad thing? But yeah, but yeah, it's always nice to look at old photos and just, see how things were and how life was. Pardon me. It's really, really nice. But I think looking at photos of, your parents or your grandparents, or your uncles or your aunties or whatever, it's just, crazy looking back. Because I think for most people, you always can never imagine, your parents or your grandparents, whatever, being children. You just cannot imagine that. And I think, despite how old they were at the time, you will always, see them as an adult. You know what I mean? It's just how it is. You can never really imagine them being a child, even though they were. You know what I mean? I feel the same about my niece when, in the far future, she'll probably think the same thing about me. Like, what were you like as a child? You know what I mean? All this sort of stuff. She'll be asking me questions like, "Uncle Dominic, what were things like when you were younger? What was the 2000s like?" All this sort of stuff. But it's nice to look back on, and I think it's a really, really good thing. Like I said, the world has changed, so much. It's just crazy. It really, really is. But what I mean, that's just how it was. So yeah. So for me, I like to look at old photos, whether it's myself or other family members, and just, yeah, I think just to sort of just see how things were and just how life was, back in those days. If you want to say that, if you want to say that and stuff, it's nice, you know what I mean? Because that's why I love watching like old videos from like, the 70s or the 80s or the 90s. Because people used to put like old family videos and stuff on YouTube years ago. So it's sort of nice to watch that and see what life was like back then. So yeah, but yeah, old photos, I love looking at them, and it's sort of nice to look back at, when you were a lot younger and stuff. So yeah. So I just want to say thank you all for watching. I know this video was a bit different, but like I said, I always like to change up the content. You know what I mean? So yeah. So I just want to say thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will be back on Tuesday. So see you later, all. Bye.